Oh, welcome back to Ravenloft Ironsworn. The Google Doc where I'm saving everything that I'm doing during the game is 96 pages at this point, which makes it exactly 3 times longer than the original Ravenloft module. Nice. Okay, so Brigida sleeps for 17 hours, gets up, sees to her necessaries, eats, and goes back to sleep for another 6 hours, which puts us close to 24 hours since our merry band staggered back into town. Probably around about enough time for Gertruda to do something stupid, but I do not have time to worry about that. What I should be worried about is what the Kashida are up to. I realized after wrapping up last session that my failed gather information probably gave the Kashida, which, to remind everybody, is the threat that's attached to one of my vows, an opportunity to get up to shenanigans, and I check with the Oracle, and the Oracle agrees with me, so let's see if they take advantage of it. For that, I'm going to take a look at a move from Delve having to do with threats. Advance a threat. When you give ground to a threat through inaction, failure, or some sort of delay, and you can kind of decide what that is. I'm being a little bit hard on myself for saying, oh, well, you slept for a day, so aha. But I've had a couple of bad rolls I haven't capitalized on yet, so I'm kind of playing this rough. Roll on the table below and envision how the change manifests in your world. And if you're not sure, ask the Oracle. So I roll on the table and I get a 35, which result means the threat works subtly to advance toward its goal or the danger escalates. Mark Menace. And what they mean by Mark Menace is basically as soon as you add a threat to a vow, that vow also gets an advancement sort of track. And we can take a look at that here, what it looks like in Roll20 at any rate. Let's take a look at Brigida's character sheet here. Let me switch things around so we can see this a little bit better. So let's take a look at Brigida's character sheet, and if you look at the summary, you'll see that under the Investigate and Avenge the Missing Members of the Free Wardens, I have a track here for tracking what I have currently going on, and then I also have the Menace track, which is 10 boxes. This one doesn't go by pips or anything like that. It just goes one box at a time. So I'm supposed to mark Menace, just like that. The thing is, if this thing gets to 10 before I'm ready to fulfill this vow, I just fail. So that's something to watch out for. It's a good time to advance this vow or advance the threat. Like I said, when I'm unnaturally delayed, I potentially have the opportunity to stop it if I roll well enough. There's about a 30% chance I can at least get a chance to stop them advancing it. But and also if I roll really badly on something that would normally advance this vow, I might advance the threat instead. So just stuff like that. So the Kashida are basically working in the shadows, sneaking up on me, and I mark Menace on that threat. Actually, if I remember correctly, I'm actually marking a second Menace on this threat because I already had one. So fine, we'll switch back to that. All right. So I'm a little bit demoralized. I'm down by 2 in spirit, and my supplies could be better. I'm also down by 2 in supplies. I'm back in town, which is exactly what, there's a specific move for this sort of thing called Sojourn. When I was a kid, I never really understood what Sojourn meant. I thought it meant sort of like a trip or a great journey, a quest or something like that. It means a temporary stay in a location. And they have a move called Sojourn. It's specifically what the Sojourn move is for, is essentially recovery. So I'm going to do that. There's a lot going in this move, so buckle in. So when you spend time in a community seeking assistance, roll plus heart. If you share a bond with that community, add +1. On a strong hit, you and your allies may each choose 2 from within. Now, allies specifically means other player characters. Companions are a different thing, which is what Ismark and Arena would be. But you and your allies each choose 2 from within the categories below. So if you're doing a group thing in Ironsworn, one person rolls Sojourn, opening up the door for many possible recovery moves for the whole group. On a weak hit, everybody in the group chooses 1. If you share a bond with the area, with the community, you can choose an additional move. So on a hit, you and your allies may each focus on one of your chosen recover actions and roll plus heart again. So this is important. I want to talk about this for a second. You and your allies may focus on one of your chosen recover actions and roll plus heart. If you share a bond, add +1. On a strong hit, take +2 more for that action. On a weak hit, take +1 more. On a miss. So basically, it gives you a couple of recover actions to give you your resources back. And depending on whether it's a weak hit or a strong hit, gives you a bonus on that roll. So it's as unlikely as they can make it that you're going to fail your actual recovery roll once Sojourn opens up the chance for recovery. However, you can still fail. The first bit's fairly straightforward, so let's just talk about that. I'm going to come back to this whole thing about rolling and making sure you can't fail. We're going to copy. Let's take a look at this thing and see what we got. I mean, I love rolling plus height, and I do have a bond with the village. Thank you very much. So I'll be having that +1, and it doesn't do any good because cheese and crackers. Seriously? Ugh. So on a strong hit, which I didn't get, you choose 2. On a hit, you get 1. And since I have a bond, I get to choose 2 anyway. So I can clear a condition. I don't have any actual conditions like wounded or shaken or unprepared. And I can choose to recuperate, which gives me +2 health. I'm not hurt right now. But I can choose +2 health for myself and any of my companions, which is great. If they happen to be hurt, they're not. Consort, I can take +2 spirit. I can provision, take +2 supply, and plan, take +2 momentum. So the way this is written, it's a kind of a weird thing. So you can do the recover action. So like if you share a bond, on a hit, you and your elves may focus on one of the chosen recover actions and roll +heart again. So let's say I choose recuperate, which I'm not, but let's say I am. I take +2 health for yourself. Share a bond, you roll your heart, add 1 if you have a bond, so I'd be rolling like, plus whatever. On a strong hit, take +2 more for the action, so theoretically I could heal 4 health, kind of a big deal. On a weak hit, take +1 more, as opposed to +2, so I could still do 3. And so I'm rolling for each one of these things, like if I want to do, I gotta roll heart to, now I can't fail exactly, but on a miss it goes badly and you lose all benefits for the action. I can fail, I can heal, I can recover not at all, which sucks because like I'm rolling, heart. Luckily, I'm focusing on stuff in this recover section. Since I share a bond with the town, I get to choose 2 of the things. I roll hard a couple more times, both with +1 from the bond. I'm not going to copy paste in 2 more rolls for the same move. This is the way it's written in Ironsworn, it's a very rolly move. A lot of rolls. If I was in a group of 3 players and I got a strong hit here, that's 7 or 8 rolls at the table after the Sojourn move before the whole thing's wrapped up, which is kind of crazy. And plus you could fail, which is like you could have a really great move, like a strong move, and then everybody could fail the rolls. I mean, that could happen. It's worth noting that Starforged, which is just about to go on the Kickstarter, I think, does this differently. They've evolved this one, and they give a bunch of bonuses and make it kind of hard, not hard to fail, but they make it worth doing. Starforged changes it. You don't get the bonus act. You don't get like an extra +2 recovery or whatever like that, but you literally don't have to roll. You just, once you've done the Sojourn move, you just pick your recovery actions and they just work. So it's a lot less rolling and you can't fail after you've already succeeded. I think that's a better move. I'll probably use that move going forward just because I think it's better and it's not nearly as messy, but in this case it didn't really mess me up too bad. So Starforge does this differently. 1 roll at the top, all the selected recovery actions are just assumed to have succeeded at a similar level, basically. It's much faster, much cleaner, without it reminds me of Mouse Guard, like messiness of the recovery phase, where it's like, oh, I screwed up all of my recovery phase rolls, and now I'm worse off than I was, and I blew all my rolls, and I'm super frustrated, and I have to go back in the adventure thing all beat up. So, anyway, in Ironsworn, I still have to roll, on my rolls, I get a 9 against a 6 and a 5, and an 8 against a 4 and a 3. I am quite happy to have prioritized heart when I was rolling up Brigida. So that's 2 strong hits, 1 for consort, which gives me +2 spirit, and provision, which gives me +2 supply, which maxes me out. The strong hit would give me an extra 2 points on both of those things, but that doesn't do anything for me because I wasn't down that far. It's worth noting, like these recovery moves heal you a lot. Like if I rolled a strong hit on a recover and I was down to like 1 health, I'd be back up to full. Like it's a big deal. It's not like some little minor like light heal kind of a thing. Anyway, it's a good problem to have, being maxed out and not being able to make use of all of it. So I envision this as a pretty chill day spent around town. Word gets out that I and Ismark and Irina braved the castle and returned alive and basically unharmed, which is pretty much unheard of in living memory when it comes to outsiders who decide to mix it up with the Baron. Ismark embellishes some of the heroics a bit, and the mood of the village lightens considerably during the day, especially when Gertruda and Mary are seen at the front door of their home, waving to other villagers that are moving about town. It's just a generally upbeat day of smiles and nods and some hopeful faces. Brigida will happily take it, though she turns down any offers of free dinner and bunks down back in the chapel again, reasoning that right now it's probably the safest place in town if Strahd decides to make a move. Hooray for a high concentration of major holy artifacts in the building. So, one good day. Let's see if we can ruin it by asking awkward questions the next morning. What can you tell me about a cult called the Kashida? Shopkeeper Gita asks, not so casually, the next morning. Gather information. When you ask questions, roll plus wits. And that's a lovely 10. That is a natural 6 on my action die, plus the bonus from my bond with the village. I have hot dice right now. On a strong hit, plus 2 momentum, which brings my momentum up to 10. But more importantly, the path I must follow is made clear. I'm going to ask the Oracle about the next step because I would like to see if it gives me any interesting twists with regards to the Kashida. There is a threat oracle that you can check on. I get a 97, and I reveal its true nature or its goal. Ooh. The shopkeep's eyelids lower, and he shoots a glance at the door to the street, but the only people within earshot are Ismark and Irina, and he seems to relax. So I roll on the character goals oracle I get this twist. I don't then know really what, so, let's tell me what's going on here. So I'm going to roll on the character goals oracle. And my first roll on the character goals oracle was roll twice, and I follow that up with protect a person and create an item. Okay. They are sworn to the count, whispers the man, his lips barely moving beneath a bushy mustache. Generations they have been his willing lapdogs, as bad as the worst of the Vistani. He spits off to the side. Why? I ask. Power. Why else? The man's face looks sour. The Baron has been alive for centuries. The knowledge he has, the secrets he knows, they want them. Rumors say there is some unholy phylactery that they want to assemble. If only they possessed the final puzzle pieces. They think if they can keep the Baron beholden to them long enough, they will have it. The words chill me because I think I know what the old man is talking about. And I know now that I have to return to the castle as soon as I... Okay. So that's the end of the Sojourn move, and it's going to be the end of this recording. I'm just doing a quick one for this. Did a Sojourn, kind of pack myself up. So when things wrap up here, I'm in pretty good shape. My momentum is at 10. My spirit is at 5. My supply is maxed back out again, which is awesome. That threat crawling up is not the best thing, but I need to get my butt back to work. Back up at the castle. So for the next one, we're going to get back in. We're going to get back up to the castle. We're going to delve the depths and see where all of that leads us. Although I think I'm probably going to have to face danger as I head from the village back up to the castle. Super. We'll see you next time.